Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. And Simon has sent me a puzzle to do today that upset me a bit, not because he sent it to me, but because when I looked it up, I saw that this X Sums by Christoph Seeliger, also known as Real Shaggy, was a precursor or taster for the what was forthcoming 8th round of the Sudoku Grand Prix, the last round this year. Now, what was annoying for me about that was it was a couple of weeks ago and I failed to enter it. So, in the final results for the Grand Prix, rather than being able to take 6 best scores out of 8, which is what most people could do, I had to take my only 6, but still finished in the top 100. There I am, down around 82nd. Very well done to anybody who beat me, very well done to anybody who entered at all. I think there were about 1,000 entrants in total in the Grand Prix, so great to see Tan Tan Dai at the top of the list. Obviously, you may well have seen her solving on a couple of our videos when we've invited her along to tell us about how she does it, and frankly, barely the wiser at the end of it. She is so fast, it's insane. And that result this result bears that out. These are also some of the absolute gods of fast Sudoku solving at the top. Tiet Vunk, Kota Morinishi, Ken Endo, Bastien Vielgame, Prasanna Seshadri, Jakub Andrushek, Sungjai Kwak, Sinchai Rungsang Gratanakul, and Jan Mrozowski in the top 10. I think in the past, and I may be wrong about this, the top 10 have been invited at the World Sudoku Championship to take part in a Grand Prix playoff, and I don't know if something like that will happen this time. It would be great if it does. It would be even better if it's online so we can all watch it. Who knows? But anyway, Christoph prepared this X Sums puzzle and put it on Logic Masters Germany as a taster, as I say, for the Grand Prix round 8. At some point, we might have a look at that Grand Prix, see if there are some good puzzles in it. I have no doubt there are. Now, these taster puzzles can sometimes be just an idea of how the rule set works, or they can sometimes be puzzles that are a bit too difficult not necessarily difficult, but reliant on one trick, which makes them a bit binary for the Grand Prix itself. So I'll have a look at that in a minute. I do want to mention, I think on Wednesday, we will be putting up the last episode of the first series of our podcast. So that'll go up at 10 a.m. our time. Now, before that, 12 hours before that, 10 p.m. tomorrow evening, I believe that's 1 hour before this video goes up each evening, Simon will be having another go at the Witness, trying to take his solve of that further down the line. So, and that'll be a live stream. So that really is worth looking forward to for people who enjoy watching Simon live in action and trying to interact with him in the comments. But frankly, last time there were so many comments, it was very hard for him to keep up, or indeed for us to actually register everything even after the event. It was phenomenally well attended. Thank you so much, especially to those people who contributed. Amazing. Of course, talking of contributing, there is our Patreon site where you can sponsor us, and you can also play Grockel's Heatwave Hunt for another 4 days. That's over there, and a brilliant collection of thermos and slow thermos. So let's get back to this. X Sums. What are the rules of X Sums? Normal Sudoku rules apply. Also, fill the grid with the digits 1 to 9. So that, oh yeah, that's the normal Sudoku rules. Sorry, I'm just reading Christoph's version of the rules here. Right, the clues outside the grid, these are the important ones, indicate the sum of the first X digits placed in the corresponding direction, where X is equal to the first digit placed in that direction. So, say this digit was a 6. That means that the first 6 digits looking down here add up to 33. That's how the rule works. If that's a 5, it's the first 5 digits. If that's a 7, it's the first 7. I don't know if that's possible. We will work on that in a minute. Anyway, do give it a try on the link under the video. I really like X Sums as a style, and I'm looking forward to this. So I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. And one of the things to do in these puzzles is to fill in the possibilities of the x's. So a 16 sum, obviously you can't start with a 2 because that next cell would have to be a 14 to make them add up to 16. You can start with a 3, as long as those two add up to 13. You can start with a 4, and those 3 will add up to 12. Now, there is a problem if you start with 5, because the way to add 5 digits to 16 in a column uses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, not 5. So that cannot be a 5. So 16 is quite a useful number for us. 12 cannot be a 2 as well. That's good. Actually, it can only be a 3 or 4 as well. So we immediately have a pair. We now know that this 33 can't be a 4, although I don't think it could be anyway. That would be too many. 5, 6, or 7. I'm now thinking of the secret, which is that the numbers 1 to 9 add up to 45. And the numbers, therefore, that aren't in the 33 string add up to 12. And we've just worked out, well, 12 could be in 2 digits if it doesn't have to start with an X-sum digit. So 12 could be in 2, 3, or 4 digits. So we can get a 5, 6, or 7 there. So this is a 33 as well. I can put 5, 6, 7 or there. 5, 6, or 7 there. A 25 cannot be a 3, but it could be a 4, or a 5, or a 6. Then the last 3 cells would add up to 20 without a 6. That's very possible. Now 31, is that going to be the same as 5, 6, or 7? Yes, a 4 is not possible. And there's 14 excluded. Actually, okay, well, I'll leave that for a moment, but I'll be coming back to this clue. Now 11 can be a 2 with a 9 next, or a 3. But it can't be a 4, because if you get to 11 in 4 digits, it's another useful number, because it has to be 1, 2, 3, 5. 27 must be able to be can be a 4, annoyingly. Can it be a 7? No, because the last 2 digits in the column would have to be 9s, both of them. That's not going to work. So we had a 31. That gives 5, 6, or 7. But I'm coming back to that one. This is a 27. Have we had one of those? Yes, 4, 5, or 6. So there are all the X's marked. Now, what I was starting to think was, if we had a 7 there, then those 2 digits would have to add up to the balance from the 31 out of 45. So they'd have to add up to 14, and they can't do that with a 3 or a 4 at the end. So the fact that these 2 clues are in the same column is useful. Of course, actually what we should be doing is adding the 2 clues in the column together. 31 and 12 makes 43. That means that the underlap, as we used to call it, is 2. So I don't know whether 2 appears here or here, but it must appear in one of them, because either those 3 add up to 12 and those 5 add up to 31. Oh no, that's what it must be. With these 2 clues, as it were, have to add up to 8. So there is room to put another digit in to make the total 45 for the column. So actually, sorry, I hadn't figured this out. That's a 3, that's a 5. We now know that the 2 is there. This becomes a 4 because it can't be a 3 anymore. I might start colouring. So up and down. Yeah, I think this will work. I'm going to make blue. And side to side I'll make a different colour. Now 11 and 33, let's add them up again. 44, so there's a 1 in the middle that forms a sort of underlap. These 2 have to add up to 8, so that can't be a 7. But I don't know whether the 1 is here with 2 and 6, or the 1 could be here with a length of 3 and a length of 5. Right, this 3 or 4, can it be a 4 with a 2 there? Okay, no, actually, of course, we add up the total for the row. 16 and 27 is 43. The item not in the strings is that 2. So in fact, we now know that the left-hand string is those 3 cells, the right-hand string is those 5. So we can fill in the 3 and the 5 that make that work. This can't be a 5 anymore. Now this row, it's a 1 in the middle. Does that have to be this 1, making this a 5 and this a 3? No, it doesn't. I think, just like this, the 1 could be in the 7th position in the row. So this can't be a 7 anymore, we know that. But again, It's either 5-3 or 6-2 at the ends of this, and the same's true there. And then we've either got ones in those two positions or a 1 there, but I don't think that's resolved, which is surprising, a little bit irritating maybe. I don't think we've got any further with the 27 clue, the 25 or the 31. Have we with the 31? If it's a 7, these two have to add up to 14. Could this be an... Oh, that could be 5, 6, 8 or 9 in that case. And lots of those work. Oh, we know this 16 is 4, of course. I must try and remember that. So these three add up to 12. I don't think that is having any impact on this row. Am I missing something here? That 25. All right, after the 25, the cells add up to 20. That could be 3 cells or 4 or 5. I don't see why not. Okay, think about it again then. What am I not getting here? Is there some way to know which of these, or whether that's a 1 or they're both 1s? If they're both 1s, these are 2s, these are 6. Oh, no. Is that really true? Yes. Oh, this is immense. This is so clever. It's mind-blowing, actually. Look, if this was a 1, you'd get 5s in those positions and 3s in those. Let me just highlight where all the 5s would be in that case. If that happened, those purples would all be 5. Look at these cells. These would all be 3s. Let's make them green. Sorry, I think that's going to be Simon. I'm not going to take the call now. No, it's not. Hang on, I'll be back. Sorry about that. It wasn't Simon. It was more important. Now, yes, this is beautiful. This was what I was saying, because if these greens were all 3s and those purples were all 5s, what you then have to do is work out where 3 and 5 go in the central box. Now, whichever one you choose, you can find a place for it. If it's 3, it's got to be there. But if it's 5, it's the same position. And that means that these cannot have a 1 here and be 3s on the end and 5s on the other end, because this would have to be both 3 and 5. And even though it might be a Schrödinger cell, it's not allowed to operate that way. So these have to be 2s. And that means these are where the 1s go. That's not a 1. These are 6s on the other end. Doesn't mean we know what those green cells are. In fact, I should turn these back to... what was I going to... Let's get rid of all the colour out of the greens and purples. And we've got oranges there and blues there. That's right. So now we know the 6 and the 2 blue there. We know the 6 and the 2 orange in this row. So that has to be a 9 to make the sum up to 11. So does that. What else have we got? Now, this has to add up to either 13 or 12, depending on whether that's a 3 or a 4. So what's that going to be? If it is a 4 and this adds up to 12, can't be 4, 8 or 5, 7. It would be 3, 9. If that's a 3, then these add up to 13, but they can't be 5, 8 or 6, 7. So then there'll be 4, 9. So this is always a 3, 4, 9 triple. That can't be 4 because of this. Now, could that be a 9? Yes, if that was 2, 1. And it hasn't changed this stuff. If that was a 3, we could get quite big numbers here. Probably is a 3. Right, what about this 12? Is that any different? If this is a 4, that adds up to 8, and it can't be 6, 2, and 5, 3, so it would be 1, 7. If that's a 3, this adds up to 9, can't be 3, 6, 2, 7, or 5, 4, then it would be 1, 8. So there's definitely a 1 there. So this is a bit different from the other. So then we get a 1 in one of those two positions. 3, 4, 9, 2, 5. So we've got to have a 1 in one of those two for this row, and it's got to be there. Oh, it's not in the middle. Right. This is 6, 7, and 8. Obviously, this one can't be a 6. 3 and 4 must be here, so they must both be here. So these are from 5, 7, and 8. Now, effectively, that would, whether this is 3, 1, 8 or 4, 1, 7, this just gets the remnants. So we have to put a 9 in this column. That has to go there. 2, 1, 9. Now we need a 6 in the central box. That's what goes in the middle, not 3 or 5. Now, whether that's 5, 7, 5, 8, whichever two of 5, 7, and 8 that is, have to go in these two cells. So that's 5, 7, or 8. 5, 9, 2, 1. Oh, okay. And the trail runs a bit dry at that point. Now, what about this 27? Ah, if that was a 6, then the minimum these three could be is 22. And that's too much, because these would have to add up to 5 or more, or fewer. And that's impossible. So that's not a 6. And it also is not a 5, thanks to that. So that's a 4. So let's blue in the 4. Those three add up to 27. We've already got 13. Those two have to add up to 14. They're a 6, 8 pair. That makes this a 7. That fixes row, well, those bits of row 4. 4, 6, 8, 9, 7. This is a naked single 3 now. I've got a 1, 2, 5 triple at the top of the column. That's a 4, 8 pair. That can't be 8 anymore, obviously. Wow, this is intriguing. Still, I know that 3 and 4 are here, but I don't know how they work. Is there some sum I have not been attending to? Ah, this can't be a 6 anymore. So either the first 4 add up to 25. Would they need a 9? Oh, that's brilliant. This can't be a 4 because these three would have to add up to 21. And the combinations of 21 either require a 9 or are 8, 7, 6. And that would clash with one of these two blue cells. So that's not a 4. That is a 5. These 5 add up to 25. So let's do the whole row. Plus that is 34. Take it away from 45, these three add up to 11. So they're either 8, 2, 1, or if that's a 6, this has to be 2 and 3 because of the 4 already gone in the box. So whichever way round that works, that's beautiful. This is a 2. Yeah, and these two add up to 9 one way or the other. Right, now what about this? No, maybe the 31. Still, quite annoyingly, it can be 7 cells. Then these two would add up to 14. That couldn't be a 9 though, so it could then be 5, 6, or 8. I think this would have to be the 3. Yeah. 4, 3 is 7. So these two would be adding up to 9 with a 5, 6, or 8 there. Couldn't be a 5. Couldn't be a 3 here. So, sorry, couldn't be a 5 because that would be a 4. Couldn't be a 6 because that would be another 3. So that could only work, this 7 sum, if this is an 8 here with a 6 there. But annoyingly, I have a feeling it's probably a 6 sum, which gives us 3 cells to add up to 14, which is doable in a number of ways. Right, I need to do some Sudoku. 5, 5, and 5. That makes this cell a 5 in box 9. 6, 8, 4. This is 3, 7, or 9. That doesn't feel very helpful. I'm missing something. 19286. So I've got 3, 4, 7, and 5 to fill in the column. 8 has to be in one of these two cells because of where it is in box 5 already. So these are also from 3, 4, 5, and 7. That one can't be a 5, clearly. So if this was a 4, this would be 4, 7, 1, and that would be a 3. If it's a 3, it's 3, 8, 1, and I don't know what that is. Either way round, one of these two is a 6. There's a 2 somewhere there. That's uninteresting deductions that feel like, well, I've got to try something. So it's really all got to be up here somehow, hasn't it? So maybe I can rule out this being a 9. Or maybe I can just look at the two possibilities. If that's a 9, this is a 2-1 pair. If that is a 3, these add up to 9 without being 4, 5, or 3, 6. So then they're 2, 7, or 1, 8. So these are the only possible numbers here. So 6 has to be in one of those cells. And down at the bottom here. No, that's not very powerful. This could be 2, 7. It's not absolutely guaranteed that there's a 1 there. Otherwise, we could sort of form an X-wing with a 1 there, and we'd know this would be a 1 in that case. Right, can we eliminate the possibility of 4, 2, 7 here? I wonder, is there a way? If that was a 7, that wouldn't work, because this can't be a 2 or a 7. The only way this can be a 7 is if we have 8 here and 6 here, and we've learned that 6 can't be there. This can't be a 7. Let me just check this logic out. If this is a 7, these add up to 31, these two add up to 14, and there is no possibility now we've reduced this. Okay, so that's a 6. That makes this a 6, which isn't helpful, but we now know that these three add up to 14 without using a 4 or a 6. 8, 1, 5 would work. 7, 2, 5. 2 and 5, 7 or 3, 9. That's, it's not getting it done. Oh, look, that 4 in that cell. Anyway, got it now. That's a 3. Right, this is an 8, 1 pair. Sorry, I've just been staring at that while you've been shouting at me for so long. Right, 4, 7, and 6 still to go in the column. Now, this must get something done. We've either got a 1 X-wing there, or an 8 X-wing. No, this could be 2 and 7. 3 can't be here. So that's a 4, 5, 7 triple. So 3 is here. That's not 3. One of those is a 4 for definite. 2 and 9 are in that group. That's not very useful. What's this doing then? This 4, 5, 7 triple. 9, 6, 4, 8, 3. These are from 1, 2, 5, 7. No, there's nothing obviously coming out the bottom there. Is there some other cell that I've just been missing? I've filled in almost all the X-wing, the X-sum cells apart from this one, and that's sad as well, because that's been proved to be a 3 for a long time. So there we go. Right, sorry, this was far easier than I was realizing. We do get that 1, 2, that 1 X-wing. So 1 becomes there. That's a 2, 5. That gives us a 2 X-wing, which is very pretty. So we get a 2 there. Sorry, this has been a bit of a mess. Right. This was always a lot easier than I was realizing. 4129, so one of those is a 5, so those other cells in the box aren't. Now we've got a 5-7 pair in the row, so that's a 1-2 pair. Now remember, yeah, that adds up to 31. These add up to 14. So with a 1 or a 2 there, if it's a 1, those are 5-8, which would have to be that way round. If it's a 2, they add up to 12, and they're either 5-7 or 3-9 that way round. So quite limited possibilities. There's something happening in the row. 6, 7, 8, 9, 3 to 6. 9, 2, 3. Would put a 5 there, 6, 5. 4, 7 pair there. That would be an 8. And otherwise, this is a 5 here, but I don't know what that makes that. Okay, let's try looking up and down columns. 4, 4 and 4. This has to be a 4. So 2 there means that can't be a 2. So we've got 2 placed as well. That's here. That fixes the 1-2 pair. Now that puts a 1 down here. This is now a 7-8-9 triple, and this is a 5-3 pair with the 3 resolved. So these two add up to 11, and they must be 9-2. So 9-2-3 was right. Goodness me, that's a lovely. Well, I'm going to say finish because I sort of think we're getting on towards the finish now. 8 there, 3-4 pair below. That's a 5. That fixes, actually the 2-5 pair was fixed by the 2. This column is done. We're finishing off box 2. 5, 3, 6, 4, 2, 1. That is 7 or 8. 9 goes there. That makes this a 9. That fixes the 7, 9 at the top. This now can't. Well, the 8 in the column is done, but the 8 in the column is fixing that 4-8 pair. 1-3 pair down here. Yes, that's simple enough. This must be a 7. We've got 6 and 8 in the bottom row. 2, 7, 3, 5, and 4. So that's a naked single 3. That's 4. That's 5. 4, 6, 7 still to resolve, and a 6, 8 there. This must be 3. This 4, 2, 9, 1, 3, 6. So 7 or 8 there. Oh, this has become a 5. That's quite helpful. So, now I just feel like I've got a deadly pattern, which is almost certainly resolved by an X sum somewhere. Is it this 25? Yes, of course it is. 5 cells that add up to 25. 5, 8, 12. These two add up to 13. They must be 7, 6. That deals with it. Very nice. Very nice finish as well. That's a really nice puzzle. Shouldn't have taken me as long as 24 minutes or whatever. So owing to my missing that very simple elimination at the top and the fact that I'd isolated that number and its length. But it's a very clever puzzle, and that has been most enjoyable. That's why I like X sums, because it gives you puzzles like that. Let me just finish. There we go. I think that's finishing all the lengths of the X sums that we discovered. Thank you very much for watching as always, and hope to see you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.